needs to be done must be done regardless of the pain.
I think the most important thing is that it gave me the belief that
Sure.
making money online was real.
The weeks that may seem as failures are getting you closer to something, that one thing that can change your life forever.
I'm Arya, father of two girls, six dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, then travel agent, then social media marketer, and now founder of Internet Moguls.
What up, Internet Moguls? It's me, Gary V. You may know that. I think you see me a whole bunch because of this dude.
Alrighty. Nico Moreno, welcome to the Ask Arya show. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic as well. More so because in the morning when I checked my calendar, I was reminded that I am going to be interviewing you. And at such a young age to have the determination to be able to do something so amazing, it really rubbed off on me when I saw it online. And I wanted to introduce you to our audience. And when I researched your profile even more, I saw that it's a pattern. Success is a pattern. I see you run, I see you work out, I see you take care of your body. So I see that that same discipline must have gone into your workplace to say what needs to be done must be done regardless of the pain. So even without knowing you, I thought that's the kind of person you are, that you are disciplined to some level to be able to make things happen. And we really appreciate it, and learn and get inspired by all of these amazing people like yourselves who have the discipline to make it work and then show other human beings to say, you know what, while you're all crying about corona, this is what I'm doing. And if you have time to listen to this interview till the very end, maybe you too will learn something about how to make it happen despite the situations that you read or see in the papers. So Nick, I always say, when in the gym, when you go out and you flex your muscles, you're like, you know what you're doing? You're inspiring the 30 other people to say, you know what? I'm going to keep coming to the gym because that's how I can become. So, same with people like yourselves. So, thanks a lot for doing that. Before we get started, Nick, I always say the shortest distance between two human beings is always a story. And the better a story, the more heartfelt it is, the farther the further the reach. So I'll give you a short story of who I am, and then I'll ask you to introduce yourself. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
All right.
Sounds-
So, Nick, my name
Yeah.
is Avi Arya, father of two girls, six dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. And in our previous discussion, I've told you my entire long story. Now, for all those people who don't know you yet, what is your story? Who is Nick and where are you from? And tell us your story.
Yeah. So a little bit about me is my name is Nico Moreno, and I actually grew up in a very small little beach town in Southern California. And while I was growing up there, I did spend a lot of time going to the beach and hiking in the mountains. I was really just blessed and fortunate to live in an area where we could explore the outdoors and be surrounded by the outdoors. So that's sort of where it all started. What I ended up doing after that is I did the whole typical like go to college and get a 9 to 5 job, whole thing. I didn't really have that entrepreneurial bug earlier on that you hear a lot of these inspirational speakers and inspirational entrepreneurs and business leaders say, oh, I started my first business as like a lemonade stand when I was just a little kid. I didn't actually have that, so I didn't really know at all what I wanted to do when I was a little kid. I sort of followed what my parents told me to do, went to college. I went to University of Southern California in LA.
USC, the Trojans.
Yeah, go Trojans. Fight on. Yeah, so I went to USC, graduated with a degree in chemistry. When I actually started college, I didn't really have much of a direction either. So I went into college without a declared major. I kind of didn't have much of a direction, to be very honest. Did not have a
Sure.
direction. Just sort of felt like one of the classes I liked in high school was chemistry, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just pick that because I don't know what I want to do afterwards. So graduated with a degree in chemistry, and after that, I was very fortunate to get a job working at a software, sort of like a consulting company, or I was in the consulting role for a software company. again, that was not something that I very quickly realized it was not something that was going to make me happy long term. So
Sure.
I actually remember it wasn't, I didn't even make it to the first Friday. It was the first Thursday
Oh, really?
that I called my mom after work and I was like, Mom, I can't do this. Like, this is awful. I hate it. And she was like, oh, Nico, like, I mean, I'm not surprised, but you need to stick it out for a little bit. Like, just stick it out. You've always been someone who's really like motivated and wanting to push yourself and do really exciting and challenging things. And I mean, she was right. So I'd always just really push myself to excel in school and in athletics and to always just be at the top of my game. And I quickly realized that this job, I was going to be working at a desk for someone else, selling like a piece of software that I really didn't have any interest in. So I very quickly realized it was just not for me. But what I did do is I did stay there for about a year. And I actually utilized that time. It was a great time to, I don't know if anyone who's listening is familiar with Abraham Hicks, but this is a mindset speaker sort of who I'm really interested in. And one of the things that they always say is when you find out what you don't want, you're finding out what you do want.
Wow.
So that's one of the biggest lessons that I've always held deeply is in any process where you're finding out something that you don't like, there's nothing wrong with that. And what that's showing you is it's pushing you closer, closer, closer to what you do want and what you do like.
Lovely.
So,
I love that.
Yeah. So by having that experience, I quickly realized that I didn't want to be working for someone else, right? I wanted the freedom to set my own direction, to focus on what I wanted to focus on. Even though again, at that time, I didn't have complete clarity on what that was. I just knew that I wanted something different. I wanted freedom. And I just wanted to not be tied down in, what was quite frankly a very boring desk job. So I actually utilized that time and that experience to just start exploring and reading a lot of books is what I did kind of in my free time. While all my friends at that job were partying or doing whatever they did after work, I would just read books and like listen to podcasts, sort of like we're on right now, of people who, were doing inspirational things or topics that I thought were interesting. And a lot of the books that I read early on were like Robert Kiyosaki, what's the book called? It's like the Rich Dad
Poor Dad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I read his book, 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss.
Right.
Those sort of set me in the direction of, okay, if I really want freedom in my life, then, well, that starts off with, and while this is not everything, finances are not everything, having freedom from a 9-to-5, like the first thing you need to figure out is how to replace that income and like figuring out a way to make your own money. Right?
Course.
So that was sort of where I set the direction and had that realization that, if I want to have freedom and if I want to set my own path in life, that starts with figuring out how to generate my own income and how to start some sort of a business online.
Got it.
And yeah, I mean, at that point, I just said online, so casually, but at that point, I wasn't really sure. This was maybe 10, well, not 10, maybe like 8 or 7 years ago when I first started realizing like, hey, I'm not going to work for someone else. So what else is there?
Right.
So making money online or, doing any sort of like online business at that point, it was starting to have more traction. It was a little bit more of a popular thing, but it wasn't a topic that I knew anything about. I had heard and like seen maybe on YouTube or something, maybe seen some videos of people doing like online business and things like that, but I didn't know how to actually make it happen. So what I started to do was a couple of months before, as I said, I was really just unhappy and unfulfilled in my day job. So I knew as I was working there, I was like, okay, at some point I'm going to quit. I'm going to figure out how to make something else work. And then I'm eventually going to quit that job.
Sure.
But I didn't, there was no like complete urgency, like do or die. Like I had to make money today, which was actually I'm really thankful for, because I did have that, I had an income coming in. from a company that I worked for. And so that allowed me a little bit more freedom to just explore some potential different ideas to start an online business. And
So that's a
the
very
first,
valid point. You're saying that even if you did not like the company you were working for, but because you were working there and you that gave you the leverage of time to
Mhm.
figure out what you really wanted instead of quitting that company that you didn't like, sitting at home and then figuring it out. So you changed, like I always say, as a street car racer, I try to give analogies of racing cars on the road. I always so you change lanes at high speed, not you don't stop a car and change a lane, right? So you're moving and you change the lane. Got it. That's pretty interesting.
Absolutely, and that's a great analogy. Like, I always agree, or I always notice. I agree with you very much. I always notice when you have a lot of momentum going in one direction, or with any goal, or with anything that you're doing, um, it's so much easier to just continue on with it when you have the momentum going versus like stopping completely and then just sitting doing nothing and overthinking it and over
Right.
contemplating and then starting back up. It's so much easier to just an object in motion stays in motion.
On the
So
go. Yes, yes, there you go. Exactly. Okay, so the first part of the story was you were always a good student. I love the fact that you brought in your mom in the conversation. I always feel the most important decisions, or a sounding board, a family knows us really well. And there's one thing I'd like to say here. In one of my books, I wrote the first chapter was stay close to the router. And I say that we are all devices and our parents are routers. And the closer a device is to a router, the more it's connected, there are more internet bars. So what do you do with more internet bars? A device is able to download more data about yourself, who I am. Your parents may not know about the online business or chemistry or what you should do, but they know you. So so that's what you should. When a lot of young people shun their parents away because parents are showing you the mirror, and many of us don't like to see the mirror, especially when we are confused. And so in this situation, you went to your mom. She may not have known Tim Ferriss or Robert Kiyosaki or what you want to do, but she knows you. So she said, you know what? You stick to it. You've always stuck through things and made it happen. So stick it out for a bit and see what happens. So that's what you did, and that's how you changed lanes. So I love the fact that you brought your mother in, and do give her our regards at the end of the show. We'd love to send our regards to everybody in your family. Great. So that
she's
happened.
everything that
Sorry.
I'm on. So I'll send her the interview as
That
well.
would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. Our regards to Mrs. Moreno. Okay, so so that part of your story happened. You were confused, then you read some of these books. You understood online is something that you could do. However, you were a chemistry student, and you were then selling software. So to be able to online was as new for you as it is for any of the audience listening to it right now. Yes, smart. You already had the brains. You already had the disciplines. You have a lovely family that's working for you. But when it comes to the online field, whatever you're going to tell us now, you started from a playing level field like all of us. You don't know, maybe you don't know Russell Brunson, you don't know Clickfunnels, you don't know how to make this happen. So now let's get into the second chapter. How did Nick uh, make his first $1,000 on the internet?
Yeah, my first $1,000. So I think again, one of the most important things was that I didn't have so much time pressure, that I was able to actually go through this first process, which I'll share exactly what it was in just a
Sure.
second. But I didn't have so much pressure that I had to make it work like tonight. Otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to eat. Right. So
You were not sleeping on
I
your
think,
sister's couch, and she was not going to throw you out at 11 a.m. in the morning tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I think that really served me well, and I did take a lot of action right at the beginning. In terms of what I did was I actually signed up for an online course that it actually taught you how to create and sell Kindle books on Amazon. So most people here probably know of Amazon. You've probably seen that there's Kindle books available, so you can just download and read any book that you want on Kindle by purchasing on Amazon. So I actually found this online course, and to me, for whatever reason, just the person who was teaching that course seemed very trustworthy, and also that business model, it didn't seem risky to me. because you could essentially, write your own books. There was no cost really to do that, and then you could sell them, and it was all profit. Like, you didn't have to buy physical products, which to me felt risky. So I took this course because that specific method of making money, to me, it didn't feel risky. And so I
Sure.
really liked that, and that was appealing to me. And so I think that's kind of why I was able to make it work. And so that's how I actually made my first several $1,000s online. It didn't happen all right at once, but over a period of a few months, I was starting to make a couple hundred, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And then, yeah, I found that it was a fun method. It was easy to understand and straightforward. And that, while I didn't make enough money with that to, like, say goodbye to everything and, have a full-time income just from that. It did, I think the most important thing is that it gave me the belief that
Sure.
making money online was real. Because it wasn't very long until I sold my first, like, digital ebook.
Got
Like,
it.
it happened pretty fast to sell, even though it was just a couple dollars. Like, I was able to see, oh my gosh, like, this is actually real. So I
Okay.
think
So
that was the biggest
so can you
go.
quickly run us through the process of how you? So did you have hire a ghostwriter, pick up a popular topic from Amazon, have them write it, and then repurpose? How did that work?
Yeah, totally. So there were actually, I had published probably between 15 and 20 books on, like, different topics. I was just following along with this online course that sort of explained the process, and I actually tried both ways. So the course taught you either how to hire a ghostwriter if it was a subject you didn't know about, and then you could just, you know, purchase the rights to that book,
Right.
ghostwriter, and then, like, sell it as your own on Amazon. And then there were a couple topics that I actually was really interested in on my own, and I just decided to write the books myself. They weren't that long, like typically 40 to 50 pages. So I actually kind of found it fun for specific topics that I was interested in. So I actually did both methods, and yeah, I sold some of the books on Amazon myself using the methods that were outlined. So
So in your journey of selling books online on Amazon, is it a residual income or does it taper off over a while?
So there's definitely residual income. I actually still to this day make money from books. It's not very much anymore though.
Sure.
But I still do get the little notifications every month that I made, like, some Amazon Kindle royalties. Now it's only, like, probably less than $100 per month, but it's extremely long term if you think about it, because that was maybe roughly maybe 5 years ago that I
Oh,
started doing
nice.
that. Those sorts of things, while it certainly, like, trickled down, it's still actually still making some sales.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so Nick, now we're going to request you for all our audience members and everybody to we first we want to start with congratulating you on your 2 Comma Club award. So
Oh, thank you.
how did that become an objective or an aim or a fascination to say this is what I'm going to go for?
Yeah. So how the Two Comma Club actually became, like, a goal of mine and an image in my mind was one. So after I started selling, or after I guess I should say, like, stopped focusing on Amazon ebooks and started getting into sort of my next phase, which was actually doing copywriting. So I provided copywriting services um, for just different types of businesses and, like, coaches, entrepreneurs, bloggers, different types of online businesses.
Right.
Once I started doing that, which happened, like, pretty much right after I was selling Amazon books, I decided that I needed something that would, bring a larger income. And so I started doing copywriting, freelance marketing services. And once I started doing that and interacting with these different types of people online who are my clients, I noticed that a lot of them were utilizing this software called Clickfunnels.
Right.
And at this point, this was maybe, I would say, about 4 years ago, something like that. About 4 years ago, started working a lot with just different clients who were already utilizing this software. And what I would notice is, as I was selling, as I mentioned before, I became a copywriter. So as I was, interacting with new clients who were, potentially going to buy my copywriting services, and I would potentially be their client, the ones I would lose, so the deals or the clients who ended up not working with me, most often what I kept hearing them saying is, oh, we don't want just the copy, we also want someone to build our funnel. And
Got it.
so if you can't do that, then sorry, we can't work with you. And so I
Right.
started hearing that enough times over and over that I realized to myself, I was like, if all my clients are using ClickFunnels and I'm losing business by not learning ClickFunnels, it's time for me to learn ClickFunnels.
Who the hell is this Russell
So
Brunson guy who's taking away my copywriting business?
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, once I started just hearing that over and over, I had the realization that, what, this is a new skill that I need to learn.
Sure.
And yeah, at that time, I was aware of Russell Brunson because, like I said, a couple of my clients had already been using ClickFunnels. I was actually a member of the ClickFunnels Facebook group too, which I was very heavily involved in there. That was actually where I found a lot of my clients,
Hmm.
was in their Facebook group. It used to be really small. Now it's like huge.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I was very much familiar with Russell Brunson and his story. And that was how I saw the Two Comma Club award at first. I mean, I can't remember the exact moment, but I always remember seeing all these different people like up on stage with this shiny, really cool looking award. And I was like, wow, like that's amazing. Like, to be able to make $1 million online, like what an exciting feeling, right? And I knew that it was possible. Here's another thing that I was actually really grateful for, from being in the ClickFunnels group. So a lot of times people would, and I'm very active on Facebook. So there's sort of two types of people who will react to these posts in different ways. But a lot of
Sure.
times you'll see people post their screenshots of Stripe or their screenshots of like whatever, all their payments, right? How much money they're making. And so there's one type of person that's going to use that as inspiration and say, wow, that is so cool and inspirational that someone can make that much money.
Yeah.
Like, great job. And then there's another type of person who will react to that and say like, oh, like, uh, that's so selfish of you to like post that sort of thing. Why would you ever do that? Like,
Right.
you're obviously just like doing that for attention. When I saw those, I was absolutely the type of person that used that as inspiration. I thought it was so cool. I would literally,
Of course.
again,
Of
my
course.
mom, I would like get the computer and I would show her this post in the ClickFunnels group. I was like, look, somebody made $400,000 in 1 month. Like, can you believe that? And she was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, I don't, I don't know anything about how that's possible, but that's really cool.
Right.
And so I used that really as inspiration for me.
That's fantastic.
Because of that, and I saw that over and over, I knew it was possible. And then there was actually one point when I had a client that I was doing copywriting for, and she had an online course. So for those of you who are familiar with online courses, uh, it's a way that you can actually make quite a lot of money. If you know what you're doing, you can make quite a lot of money pretty quickly with an online course. And so one of my copywriting clients, I did all the copywriting for her funnel and for her emails and everything like that for her course. And she launched this online course and she made over $500,000 in 2 weeks with this
Wow.
online course. And so that was the point when like reality hit, because I mean, while it wasn't me who was making all the sales, like I was working with her and she
Sure.
was like, I was able to just like see it happen.
It was the closest you would. It was just the closest to the 500,000. You would just had one person in between, like, like 6 degrees of. You had 1 degree of separation between you and the money.
Exactly. And that was when I was like, wow, okay, this is absolutely 100% a real thing. And
Got
like
it.
that was a very defining moment for me, just to know that,
So
okay, like all these people are doing that, but this is actually real.
So, what I love about your story and what I want to reiterate to the audience that's listening over here is that you cannot sometimes plan your success the way you want to in your head. You keep working like Nick kept working. He found clients. The clients introduced him to ClickFunnels. Then he finally got a client who he worked with on ClickFunnels that lady made 500,000, and that started his journey and obsession to say, I can do it too. So keep marching. Don't stop wherever you are in your journey. Don't stop, because every day, every week, even the most the weeks that may seem as failures are getting you closer to something, that one thing that can change your life forever. So if Nick had stopped anywhere in this journey saying, you know what, people want click funnels, let them go to hell, and let me do something else, and this journey would not have happened. So continue marching through whatever seemingly tough obstacles come in your life, because those are, for the most part, taking you towards where you should be headed. So, so that's fantastic. So, Nick, can we, for everybody, the topic is how Nick got to the Two Comma Club, and you gave us your story. You mentioned how you got obsessed with this. I love the fact, from a chemistry student to selling software to, and we're going to talk about your fitness towards the end as well, because I'm sure that's a major part, to play in, in how your work ethic pans out, and you're not going out weekends and getting drunk and coming back early in the morning. You can make out from your jawline you're somebody who's eating right and doing everything correct. So we'll come to that. But in the interim, I know that you have a slide deck for us, for our audience, to say this is the step-by-step process. If they follow, they can find the success that they're looking for. So you can feel free to jump right into it.
For sure. Okay,
I'll
let
just
me
give
go.
you the sharing rights,
Okay,
and
cool.
I made you co-host, and here we go. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so
So
can you
what
see
I'll
my
do is
screen?
I'll just go off screen so that you have the whole screen to yourself for a couple of seconds.
Okay,
There we go.
sounds great.
Over to you.
Okay, awesome. So I had a couple of slides where I was going to go into my story, but we already shared that. So we're just going to dive right into what I would consider to be my 5 steps to success with any goal. And it really comes down to these simple things that anybody can do regardless of your background. Okay, it's just a mental attitude, and it's sort of a belief system that by listening to what we're saying here and by following along, like, you can adopt this into your belief system too. Okay, so my 5 steps to success with any goal. Now, the first one is, and it's going to sound really, really obvious, but the first step is to actually decide. So in my journey, I've really delved deep into understanding how the human mind works. They're both the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and understanding how we can utilize the awesome power that we actually have right inside of our right inside of our brains, every single one of us. But it really takes some understanding about how it works, right? And so the first key step is to actually make a decision. Okay, so everyone, like, you need to understand that a decision is actually, it's an invisible step that most people really, they just never do. Okay, so they never actually sit down and make a firm decision that they're going to do something. They may sort of lightly think about it, or talk with a friend or something like that, or say, oh, I wish, or maybe someday. But most people actually just skip the step altogether of making a firm decision. So when you firmly and honestly decide to do something, the reason why this is so powerful is because then in your mind, it no longer becomes a question of if, it becomes a matter of when. So instantly you shift your perspective, and your mind starts to formulate possible solutions and possible routes to you achieving your goal once you've actually made the decision to achieve it. Okay, so there was a point in my life when I decided that I would become a millionaire, and that I would be on stage winning my own Two Comma Club award. Okay, so these were conscious decisions that I made. I didn't just sit back and say, oh, that's so cool, all those other people are out there doing it, maybe someday. No, I actually sat down and I was like, you know what, I'm deciding to do that. So that's the first step. Again, it sounds so simple, but it makes a dramatic difference. And because most people just never actually do that. Okay. So that's the first step, is actually make a firm decision. Second step is, and this sounds, this may sound a little bit woo-woo or a little bit, not as concrete, but it's actually incredibly concrete and incredibly practical. The second step is visualization. So the way that your subconscious mind works is it actually works in pictures and images. Okay, so if you actually feed your subconscious mind images and just pictures of what it would look like for you to succeed at your goal, within the first 3 to 7 days, you will very quickly start to see just changes in your ways of thinking, changes in your ways of being, new perspectives, and very likely you'll start to see new ideas popping into your mind and solutions on how you can achieve your goal, literally that quickly. So the way that the subconscious mind works, again, is it absorbs images. So if you show your mind consistently pictures and images of what you want to achieve in your life, then it will automatically, it works on your behalf with solutions for you to achieve that goal. So that's the second step. And visualization is something that I do every single day, sometimes twice a day, like in the morning and at night. And the reason why I do it, why I utilize it so heavily, is because I've found over and over again that it works consistently. So while it may feel, and this is actually something that I've had to work on, but a lot of times it can sort of feel like you're unproductive or like you're being lazy by visualizing. But I want to remind everybody out there, the subconscious mind is guiding like 80 to 90% of your actions and your thoughts all throughout the day without you even really being aware of it. So if you can take control of that 80 to 90% that's working behind the scenes at all hours of the day, then you absolutely want to utilize that. Okay. And the way that you utilize that is, it's simple, it's visualization. So it's super fun, and it's also very, very practical in achieving your goals. So the third step that I did, and that I highly recommend everyone who's listening to do this as well, is to get mentors. Okay. So at first, they don't all have to be paid. It's totally, it can be just as valuable, and in some cases even more valuable, to have mentors who are not paid, right? So at some point in your journey, though, I do recommend also having paid mentors, because what I've found is when I pay for a coach or a mentor, I take what they say much more seriously, and I'm more likely to do it, right? So when I invest financially, like into a coach or a mentor, I'm expecting, how do I say this? I'm expecting to get an ROI, like a return on the investment, right? And so because of that, I'll actually work harder at doing what they say to do, make sure that I do it, I get my money's worth, right? And then I end up getting better results. So absolutely get mentors. Again, these do not have to be paid, especially not right at the very beginning, but even right now, I would consider myself, or I would say that I have anywhere from, well, I have probably 3 to 4 paid mentors right now at the time of this recording, as well as probably 10 other people who I would consider mentors, who I literally just follow very, very heavily by reading their books, watching their videos, kind of stalking their stories online. Again, we've been given this incredible gift of the internet, where you can follow people on YouTube, podcasts, books, websites, Instagram, different things, right? So what I do is I almost like brainwash myself into thinking the way that they think, thinking the way that my mentors think, listening to their voices, listening to them talk and how they talk on videos, what types of information and language that they use when they're talking about their own success and their own stories, right? So I really, really take it seriously, and I highly, highly encourage anyone who's listening out there to pick 1, 2, or 3 mentors who you really, really resonate with, and who have also done exactly what you want to do, and start to visualize yourself taking the same actions as them, right? So remember, we said that mind works in pictures and images. So when you find mentors who have done something that you already want to do, And then you start to visualize yourself like just throughout your day, acting and speaking as if like them, then that's going to send a very powerful message to your subconscious mind. And you're going to start to notice changes very, very quickly in your life. And really what I truly believe is the fastest path to success is getting a mentor, because while sometimes there is an investment that you need to make in order to work with someone, it very typically shortens the process for you to get to your goal, right? So what has taken them 10 years to learn all on their own, you get to pay and have access to that information right away, right? So it really is, it's truly a gift to be able to work with mentors. Again, whether they're paid or whether they're free, that really is the fastest path to success. The fourth thing is to continually develop your mind. Okay, so this is step number 4 out of 5. It's to realize that this is a process, okay? So you have to start to enjoy developing yourself and enjoy developing your mind. Enjoy learning about how your mind works, and enjoy like just hearing other people's perspectives, hearing their stories, and hearing the way that they think about the world, and how they were able to get success in the area that you want to, right? So the mind, again, it's by far the most powerful tool that we all have access to. So for anybody listening, if you're listening, you have access to the exact same resources that every other incredibly successful human being has, and that is your mind, okay? So another really powerful tool to actually tap into the power of your mind is by use of hypnosis. So hypnosis is actually, it's a tool that I utilize every single day, as well as visualization. And I actually recently became certified in hypnosis because I found the subject so fascinating and actually wanted to just really understand the core concepts and the actual, like the neuroscience and the psychology behind it, as well as being able to practically use it on myself to get to my goals. So highly recommend that you explore the topic of hypnosis. There's plenty of people who talk about it and even have recordings of hypnosis on YouTube and different places like that. You can find tons of audios and videos about it. But I utilize that every single day. And in combination with visualization, it's extremely powerful, and it really, really helps you. Yeah, it helps you just access the higher faculties in your mind that we all have access to, but just most people are not even aware of that, right? So that's something that I use every day, and I always tell all my clients, as well as just anyone who I'm talking to, that hypnosis is an incredibly powerful tool that we can all utilize. So another thing when it comes to developing your mind is practicing meditation. So this doesn't necessarily have to be, again, it doesn't have to be anything like super spiritual. It really is what you make it. So meditation can be something as simple as just sitting in your room quietly before you turn the lights on for 5 minutes. And that's it, right? So just something to calm your mind a little bit and to quiet your mind. And the reason that this is so powerful is because when you're in a state of reacting to the external world, so let's say the first thing that you do every morning is you check your phone, and then there's a million emails already, 5 text messages, like you missed the alarm, missed the train, you missed the bus, and like all these things are bombarding you from the external world. That makes you start your day off feeling like you're not in control, like you're not in power. However, when you practice meditation, especially first thing in the morning, that allows you to set the tone of your day, right? So you block everything else out. You start the day with a calm mind and with focus of what you want to accomplish and how you want the day to go. And then you like give yourself the chance to sort of be the creator of your own experience that day. So that's one thing that I highly recommend that you look into as well if you haven't started meditating either. And another thing, again, that I love to do is to just listen and read different books on how the mind works. It doesn't have to be spiritual. It can be spiritual if that does appeal to you. There's all different perspectives, and I just really love learning about different people's perspectives on the mind, because there's always something that you can learn, um, that you can use to help utilize your mind better and to just make more progress on your goals. And the fifth thing, this is sort of the final step, but the fifth thing is to just remember at the end of the day that life should be fun. Like, there were so many, I would say this is actually a relatively new realization for me. There were so many years, like the first probably 3 solid years that I was, running my own business, I didn't have this belief. I didn't really have any belief that life should be fun. I thought it needed to be all hard work all the time. And I thought that grinding at my goals 24/7 was actually the way to achieve them. And what I came to realize is it's actually so much harder to achieve your goals when you're not having any fun, right? Like, when you're purely focused on, a lot of people in the entrepreneurship world talk about like always hustling and like 24/7, like always going for your goals. And yeah, it's important to make your goals a priority, but if that's the only thing that you focus on and you don't ever allow yourself to have fun, you can only last for so long until you burn out, and you probably will just give up for good, right? So another thing, this comes back to how the mind works, but the mind seeks rewards. So if you allow yourself, if you reward yourself after each milestone, or, let's say you just completed a big project that you've been working on for 2 weeks, you don't want to reward yourself, not only for the benefits that, you're training your mind to complete a task that you said you were going to complete and then see that as a reward, but you're also just allowing yourself to have some fun in life. Really, it does not have to all be hard all the time. And you'll find that you actually will achieve your goals much more easily when you adopt this belief, and when you really actually believe that life can be fun at the same time as achieving your goals. So really, to drive this point home, just remember that life is truly a journey, and when we leave, we take nothing with us. So you should do your best, and you should also enjoy the process, and just aim to leave this place a better world when you move on. So those are my 5 tips on how to become a 2 Comma Club winner step by step, and also how you can apply that to really any goal that you may have in your life.
All right, that was fantastic. Thanks, Nick. So, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm 29.
So, at 29, you were saying, I love what you said about the fact that any goal, most young people like to say, you know what, give me a secret, give me a hack, give me. And I don't like the word the hack, because it's just so opposite of the hustle. Everybody wears a t-shirt which says I'm a hustler, and they're all looking for hacks all over the internet. So uh, there is no shortcut, I believe. But like you said, people who've done it in the past today are more than ever happy to share it, and share a journey, share a blueprint, follow that blueprint, have a mentor. Then you said have a paid mentor, because not only will he take you more seriously, you will take him more seriously as well. It'll be a more structured. A lot of people see everybody's videos on YouTube and say that guy's my mentor. I am who I am because of that guy. The guy doesn't even know you. So yes, many principles can be learned, but many specific principles need for you to engage with the mentor one on one. The other thing you said was meditation. To be able, in yoga they call it shunya. Shunya means zero. To have no thoughts. To be in a place, in an equation from plus minus, -1, -2, -3, -4, +1, +2, +3, +4. There's a 0 point. So that's called the shunya. So every day in your meditation, your aim is to reach the shunya where nothing is happening. The third thing you said was, you said hypnosis, but you also, I think, did you mean NLP and doing a course like that to understand how you can go deeper into the mind, to be able to train yourself to say, that 2 comma uh, goal is going to be mine.
Yeah,
And then,
absolutely.
yeah, then but I wanted to ask you a few questions. So I was taking notes as you were talking, and very interesting stuff. And I was also, I had a question here on behalf of the audience that's listening, that when
Sure.
you, so everybody wants to get the 2 comma club. Say, how do you choose? I had a couple of questions. So on the mindset front, I understood what you said. It's so very important because you fail here. You fail here, things are tough every day and you don't want to carry on. And that's one kind of failure that you see. The other kind of failure that I've seen after interviewing hundreds of people, Nick, is that a lot of people work hard every day, but they don't work on a goal, on a plan, or on their mind. So they fail even if they've got the hacks right. But having said all of this, I follow the Nicholas Moreno 5 step system to get the 2 comma club from the mindset perspective. Now, can you give us 5 things from the from what product should I choose? How should I get onto ClickFunnel? And should I use Facebook ads and what not to do in Facebook ads? Something about payments, because a lot of people say payments didn't happen, or overseas payments, or don't sell a product overseas, sell it in your own boundary, whatever could be your advice. And the fifth piece of advice could be anything regarding, having multiple products or just one product. So we've done the mindset. And now if you can give us 5 activities on how to start a journey. I'm a complete novice and I want to get the 2 comma club. How do I start?
Yeah, for sure. So with that in mind, like from a practical standpoint, or like we'll say non-mindset, we'll say tactical.
Sure.
Uh, the first step is what I would say for someone who's a beginner. I think the absolute easiest and fastest path to getting to the 2 comma club award is by selling some sort of a coaching service or some sort of like a marketing service. So you could be a service provider, such as doing a marketing um, doing a marketing service for somebody else, like running their Facebook ads, if you know how to do that, right? Obviously, you want this to be an area of knowledge or an area of expertise that you have. So if you're
So
interested in,
a done for you service.
yeah, a done for you service or a coaching service, because that's typically something that you can start right now with the knowledge and the skills that you have.
Got it. So
So that's
that's
what I
one.
would, yeah, that, as far as the product, that's kind of the route that I would go. I would also learn how to, the second thing is like learn how to sell this product as a high ticket service. So typically what a high ticket service or a high ticket product is this is something that's sold between $2,000 and $10,000. So that may sound daunting if you're just starting out. And so there's no harm in, getting a first couple of sales at a little bit less than that. But the second step is I really, really recommend, this is how I did it. I recommend that you learn how to sell a high ticket product. Like if you actually search that out on YouTube or just somewhere on the internet, that's actually a skill set, like how to sell high ticket products. So there's like it typically is sold over the phone and you utilize a specific sales funnel as well.
Right.
So
So, and it's
it's a,
also a good idea to hire callers on commissions to do that, or you should do it yourself.
yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can have someone else do it for you. That's what I do. So
How
while
do you
I've done it I've done it.
how do you find these callers and how do you train them? Because they're representing your brand.
Yeah. So that's the first, I would say that's probably it's one of the more challenging parts to growing a high ticket business or a high ticket offer is finding the right person who will sell your offer, and like making sure that you guys are a good fit mindset wise and that they understand what your product is. So the thing is, it really does help if you have sold your product on the phone yourself a couple times first. That will typically give this salesperson who you're going to be working with, it'll give them like an opportunity to see, okay, this person's product is like actually it's working and it's being sold, right? Because you have to think of it from their perspective. They don't want to just take some phone calls for some guy who has never sold their product ever, right? They want to make sure that they're selling a product that's real and that exists and that can actually help
So your
the
Google
person.
reviews are good, your LinkedIn profile is, good, your customers are saying good things about you because it's ultimately the caller's reputation on the line as well. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a win-win. You want to find a salesperson who is going to fit with your business and your brand and who you are, and they're also going to be looking for that in you, right? So it's very important to realize that it's a two-way street, and
So how do you do this? So
you
do you give an ad on do you advertise on Craigslist or Upwork, or how do you can you give us a few tips on how to find the right high ticket closers, HTCs as they call them?
Yeah, totally. So where I have personally done it, and really the only area that I have expertise in doing this is Facebook. So there's tons and tons and tons of Facebook just networking groups on different topics. So there's like we talked about, there's the Clickfunnels Facebook group. There's just so many Facebook groups on business, entrepreneurship, just different niches. If you just try and search for even just a couple, like you'll find a ton. So that's the only way that I've ever done it. So that's the only real way that I can sort of comment on. But it works for me. And very often I see people post in some of the groups that I'm in saying like, "Hey, I'm looking for a salesperson for such and such type of offer." So it's a totally normal thing to do,
Sure.
and that's where I've done it, and that's where I would recommend.
Got it. Got it. So you got your salesperson, you got a high ticket offer, you train them, and so you're still in control of your Facebook ads and your own branding because the more you brand yourself, the more opportunities it opens up for your salesperson to say, see, Nicholas is everywhere and he's the right person to work with because you're constantly working on your brand. So that's
Correct.
okay. Now, what, Nicholas? What if a lot of people? I see a lot of people saying, you know what? I want to get the two comma club. So two comma club. Your two comma club is products and services, digital products, and not real physical products.
Correct. So we didn't do physical products. It was marketing services. So we did chatbots, or we still do chatbots. If anybody's heard of like Facebook Messenger chatbots,
Uh huh.
so people set that up. And ClickFunnels, we also set up funnels. And we also have, this is newer, but we also have a coaching program as well. So
So that means you have done for you services. When you charge money, then you have an operation set up to deliver those services, which is not, which is very different from a coaching program, which is, coaching done and you're on your way. This is actually making sure customer service is right, delivery is done on time. So it's a lot of behind the scenes operations and getting $1 million through ClickFunnels on that. That's only in the US that you made that $1 million.
no, we've definitely had quite a bit of international clients too.
Got it. Got it. So you plan to stick to digital products and coaching. And so why coaching? Because it's less execution work, more of your own time or
Yeah, that's a great point. So I think the interesting thing is everyone sort of has their own path to, every coach sort of has their own path to like how they became a coach. For me, there was never a point where I actually decided, I'm going to become a coach today. But there was a period when I started getting into messenger bots and chat bots, which that was about 3 years ago. I started doing that as a service for other businesses. Not very many people knew how to do that, and uh, some people just started asking me like, "Hey, like, do you offer any like coaching? Because like I kind of want to learn how to do what you're doing."
right.
So a couple people just started asking me, and that was the first point. I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll do it." So from that point, I just started to realize that more and more people were, I guess, drawn to. I just have like a different energy from most business coaches out there. I think a lot of people are really into like the flashy cars and whatnot, and like
Right.
I don't know. I would say it just sort of progressed really naturally. And then once I got the Two Comma Club award, then of course more people were like, "Oh, okay, like Nico, like I really want you to teach me what you're doing."
Of
uh,
course.
but yeah, for me, it was a very organic process. to becoming a coach.
Got it. So, a lot of people think products, physical products, t-shirts, hats, all of these things, you brand them, make them really funky, or make them the flavor of the season, make a Christmas hat, or make it a football season hat, and go out there, use ClickFunnels, and that's one way of doing it. What you chose to do was, in my opinion, equally hard, because there's no selling logistics in delivery, but there's still a lot of back and forth on the phone when you're setting up chatbots and getting the collaterals from the client and back and forth. So it's like running an agency, and so well done on that. And then now you're sort of adding the coaching element to it as well. So that's one part: how to choose a product and what kind of products can fly. The second part: any sort of any suggestions on what not to do when you're running Facebook ads to grow your ClickFunnels account and get more people into your funnel?
Yeah, I would say if you're doing anything that's related to like business or making money or anything. So, for me, my offer is generally helping other people like make more money in their business because we're helping them with funnels and chatbots and, coaching. I would just be really careful putting any of that terminology in your Facebook ads, because if you're familiar with um, some of Facebook's policies, they just really don't like you talking about making money or anything like growing businesses. For whatever reason, they're really against that. So I would actually, something that I've started doing recently, and I've been teaching some of my clients to do as well, is if you're in the business niche or if you're helping people in any way like make more money, I would use the YouTube ads instead. Really, like Facebook ads are, it's just a lot. You're making it harder for yourself to use Facebook ads if you're going to be doing like any sort of make money online programs. And so I've more recently been focusing on YouTube ads.
And what's the is the ROI similar, or is it more expensive? But it doesn't matter because you've got a high ticket product.
I would say it's actually a bit more profitable. It's not like super, I wouldn't say that there's a super big difference in terms of the pricing. I have noticed it's a little bit more profitable, but really what it comes down to is just the policies of the ad platform. So Facebook, you'll very likely just get shut down your Facebook ad account. Whereas Google and YouTube ads, or YouTube is owned by Google. So your YouTube ads, like they don't have any policies like that. So you can sell like business coaching, you can sell business consulting, and like you can sell make money products on YouTube, and like there's no problems.
Got it. So, and the third, so now Facebook, third, in terms of payments and payment gateways or refunds or whatever, any experiences you want to share with us?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would utilize, for anyone who's just getting set up with their payment processors, I would get Stripe and PayPal. I have both, and I would recommend getting both, just because, I mean, they're both free to set up. Excuse me, but I would get both because a lot of times there's clients who just, for whatever reason, they're not comfortable giving their credit card, but they would otherwise want to work with you, or they would otherwise pay if it were PayPal. So I would actually offer both. Like we offer both for some, like for an online course, for example. And I would have to look like at the exact numbers, but probably like 20% of the sales or whatever come from PayPal. So it's like that's 20% of the money you're leaving on the table if you don't have a PayPal. Purely just because people on the internet, they don't feel as safe putting their credit card. So yeah, I would recommend getting both. And yeah.
Now my fourth question is, so for most people who are listening to this or watching this, to get to the 2 comma club, I do a lot of Facebook ads and I keep getting money out. That's the common perception. Keep putting in ads, keep getting ROAS, return on ad spend. But you're saying you could do Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, all of that as well. Is it at all possible, or is it difficult to do this semi-organically, like build a nice Facebook group, and then do webinars and do other things to be able to get people into your funnel? And or does it only have to be lots of ads, or is it easier to do lots of ads and webinars and all of that? What is your take on these different ecosystems?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and I love how you brought that up, that some people, have this idea that they have to just, only be running ads. I
Right.
think that there's a place for both. And I utilize both organic and paid. And the way that I recommend most people to do it is starting off with organic. So if you're brand new and let's say you are going to go the coaching route, or you're going to be selling a service where it's like you selling and kind of like creating your own offer, I actually really recommend starting off with the first couple of sales being organic, because that way
Right.
there's just not as much pressure. You're not like putting money into ads with that fear. Really, what it all comes down to is uh, not letting fear get in your way, right? So if there's less of a barrier, and so like if you're not putting money into ads, um, you're in this place of like, okay, like I'm not losing money right now, right? Again, this is all like a mindset process, but if you're just beginning, sometimes it can be very beneficial to be in a place of, okay, I'm not losing money, I'm not spending money right at this second, so I can take some time and do this organically and get my first client or my first couple of clients by building a Facebook group. That's a great way, and I've utilized that strategy uh, and had quite a bit of success with it. So you can absolutely do organic. You can also use paid ads if you're someone who you're just like, you really want to be like aggressive, and you're like, yeah, I want to get in there. I'm not afraid to invest some money into ads and potentially not make it back. That's another big thing too. It's
Right.
like, you need to be honest with yourself. Are you okay with spending $1,000 on ads and potentially making zero? Because it's possible for that to
Yeah.
happen.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
and be okay with that. Yeah. And if you are okay with that and you're like, oh, it's not a big deal, then maybe you would be better off to just go for the ads.
Perfect. Perfect. So, Nick, tell us, all our audiences are in different parts of the world. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. I go back and forth between Asia. I meet a lot of people, do a lot of events, online, offline webinars, and I seldom find people who have it together. When I say together, I like I said, I want to again give a shout out, lots of love to your mom. It's bringing your family into who you've become today is something that that have huge. My respect for you has gone up tenfold after you brought in your mom, and you spoke about mindset. You spoke about all of those things. These are tactical, important, needed. But you came to the core of the matter and you said mindset, meditation, coaching, NLP, and all of those things. So I really appreciate that. So all of that comes only once you've been through many tactical successes and failures, and you've realized that there's something beyond that. And then you went to the mindset, then you went to all of that, and you say, you know what, this is what works. And so I can imagine the experience that's gone behind all of this. So in the last segment of this interview, I'd like you to talk about your course. People who want to work with you as a coach, or buy your course separately and work with you as a coach. Can you run us through both those programs, and eventually I can put a link for people to get in touch with you?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So we have there's a couple different ways that if you're interested, you can work with me. So one of the core um, programs that we offer, and yeah, it's an online course. It's called Messenger Bots for Entrepreneurs. And so as I was talking about a little bit earlier on in the interview, this course teaches you all about how to use messenger bots and messenger bot marketing. So like I said, about maybe 3.5-ish years ago, chatbots were a very new topic. Not very many people were using them, and I thought they were so cool when I discovered them.
Yeah.
Uh, for those of you who haven't ever seen one, it kind of looks like you're having like a chat conversation, but it's all pre-set up, and like you can kind of
Right.
lead people down through like a chat marketing funnel, really. So it helps you like boost your sales, or you can also sell this as a service to other businesses. So that course is, yeah, it's all from A to Z, helping you either learn how to build chatbots to sell your own products, sell your own services, or it also teaches you how to sell that as a service if you don't have your own business right now and you just want to start offering that as a service, that course teaches you how to do that as well. So
Awesome.
um, it's a creation of my own. It's all videos and templates and scripts that are created by me. And yeah, that's one of my most
Fantastic.
fun projects. And really, it's changed a lot of people's lives. So
Fantastic.
course is
And now do
available.
talk about your coaching, because I know, we would want to promote this video to reach out to a lot of people who want that 2 comma club, but they know it is a far cry from where they are right now. So if they want to hire you as a coach, what can they expect in the coaching program?
Yeah. So what we do in our coaching program, and by we I mean like I've built a team who also helps me run that program, but I'm the coach in the in the program. So yeah, what I help you with in my coaching program is how to create and structure and sell your own high ticket offer. So as I said before, in my not only in my experience, but it is also my belief that creating your own high ticket offer is the fastest path to achieve really any sort of financial success. Just that's been my personal experience. And I've helped so many people create their own high ticket offers and high ticket programs, whether it's a service, coaching, an online training course or a training program of some sort. So that's sort of the main fundamental thing that we work through is we help you create your own high ticket offer, understand how to structure that properly to sell it online, and then also teach you step by step how to sell this properly online, right? Because there's a sales process that you need to understand how it works to be able to sell a high ticket product online. So we help you with the funnel. We actually give you our templated 2 comma club funnel in my coaching program. We just clone it over to you, and then we help you um, essentially like put your own words and your own text and sort of plug your own offer and your own personality into this funnel, because this is the process that works to sell high ticket products online.
Got it.
So yeah, essentially walk you through the process. It's very much step by step, very templated, and then I also give you like one-on-one support. So really just hand holding through the whole process. And there's also a group mastermind element too, and we have like a group Q&A call every week, and you can interact with everybody else who's in the program as well. So
How
those are
long is this program?
sorry, what?
How long is this program?
Yeah, so we actually have two versions. We have a 6-month program, and we also have a 12-month program.
Got it.
So it's kind of just depending on where a person is at and what level of commitment they're ready for, then yeah, we have those two different versions.
So I like the fact that you have longer term programs, because even after the course is done, I launch it and I find some success, some not. I want to reiterate and relearn. I can the course is always on. Weekly trainings are happening, and I can keep coming back. I never feel alone because I've got a mastermind community, and I can learn from all of those people as well. Awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to put a link down to all of those courses and some descriptions that we're going to get from you later on. So, Nicholas, this has been a fantastic 1 hour and 11 minutes and 43 seconds. I learned a lot, surely. Thank you very much for taking the time out for us, inspiring so many other people to say, you know what? It looks like $1 million, which is only made by a few people. You know what? I could say, this gentleman, Nicholas, already has got the smarts. Well, he's a chemistry major. He went to USC. He's he can figure it out. But the thing is, he figured out something which was not in his lane. He had to change tracks multiple times and then come from chemistry to software selling, from software selling to online marketing and selling short, small ticket services, to eventually find out that his customer was doing something called Clickfunnels, and in that he helped another customer who made $5,000, $500,000, and then thought there's an opportunity over there, and then started his real journey of discovering, and I'm sure having lots of funnels working, many of them not working, figuring out a way of eventually making that $1 million. And now being gracious enough to come on an interview like this to so openly and freely share with all of you people that it starts over here, it needs a lot of family support, and then it becomes tactical. So first you spoke about the mindset, then you spoke about family, and then you spoke about the tactical stuff, which I've almost never had in any interview. It's always the opposite. It's a technique, it's a hack, and it's all of that. So thank you very much for sharing all of these details with us. We appreciate it. For all of you people who are watching and are right now, I can feel it because I am, so I can imagine all those people who are charged up right now. Just comment charged up in the comment box, wherever you're watching this, on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching. Say charged up, and Nicholas is going to get all the love from you when he checks out the comments whenever this show does go live. Nicholas, from all of us at the Internet Moguls team in Vancouver and around the world, and from my two lovely daughters who love to be part of most entrepreneur ventures of mine, and all of our teams and all the people who are watching over here, we wish you all the best.